CustomTacticals.com here, and today the knife or knives I'm reviewing are the Southern Grind Bad Monkeys, I guess in this case. Southern Grind is a American knife manufacturing and design company that's run and started by country singer Zac Brown. He's kind of created a company with, a certain philosophy behind it, and, a little bit of fanfare. The website reminds me a little bit of Bussy, with all the crazy sort of over-the-top graphics and things like that. Funny names like Bad Monkey and Granddaddy and Jackal. Not to take anything away from the knives themselves, because they're pretty awesome. They got a bit of a sort of a raw, sort of, I want to say, sort of a cross between sort of a Strider kind of a vibe to them, and sort of a Bussy sort of vibe to them, in that they're they're sort of like raw, sort of back down to the, what makes a knife good without too many of the frills. I mean, they're made with high-tech materials. They got the Emerson Wave and things like that, but they're also they're not frilly. There's not a lot of puff on them. They're straight up, no nonsense, form, sort of function driven designs, as opposed to sort of the overly fancy stuff that you'll see from a lot of knife makers that kind of go a little overboard with over designing their pieces. So let's get down to the knives here. The reason why I have two of them is because one is the Tanto and one is the drop point. So the Bad Monkey comes in essentially two basic versions, the drop point and the Tanto, and you can customize the blade type, handle type. You can get it coated, Cerakoted. You can get different handle materials on them. You can get all sorts of different pocket clips. These are kind of basic models, no serrations. You can get serrations for extra $5, but who wants those, right? These are sort of the entry level. I won't call them entry level. They're about $250. So, but they are the entry level versions. No sort of extra bells and whistles here. Sort of a textured carbon fiber here. The drop point is a hollow grind. It's got sort of a cool raw finish on the hollow grind. Reminds me a little bit of what's his name, Greg Lightfoot, a little bit on the grinds here. Pretty cool looking grinds. Stone washed flats. Southern Grind logo there. Double thumb stud. Emerson Wave, which is licensed by Emerson, has the patent as well. They're flat, not contoured, beveled edges on the carbon fiber. All the pivots and screws use custom spanners. No regular type of screws here, so you can't really take them apart on your own. Pocket clips are really cool on these. They're really short, fairly low profile guys. You can just pop them on. I found that the pocket clip was one of the nicest features on these. They work really well. The lock end liners on the Bad Monkey are both titanium, as well as the spacers. So there's they're not cheaping out on any of the parts here. No play. Very well made knife. These are machined in Zac Brown's own facility in the USA, so they're made in their own facility, not by somebody else. They're made from the ground up, and apparently personally inspected by Zac Brown himself. So it's quite possible that all of these have been touched by Zac Brown, which is kind of cool, I guess, if you like his music and you're a fan. take a closer look at the Tanto one here. The Tanto is a conventional flat grind, what they call it, which is basically a saber grind. I'm not I'm not sure if you can get all of them in a hollow and a flat grind, but I've seen right now on the website it seems like they only have hollow grinds easily available, but at one point they had hollow and flat grinds, so they had both at some point. He's a little monkey there on the pivot. The wave feature works pretty well on these. They're really well made knives. I thought they did a solid job designing this knife. It's a great user. Very performance driven. The steel on both of these knives is the Sandvik 14C28N, hardened to RC 59 to 61. It's a super sharp blade. It takes a very fine edge. The Sandvik 14C28N is one of the finest hair popping sharp steels that you can get. It's a lot of people consider it not as good for hard use because it's more of a finer use blade. Cliff Stamp has a destructive test on it that he did a few years back. I didn't read the whole way through because Cliff's stuff is pretty lengthy, but I believe it was pretty decent performing steel. I find it a fantastically sharp steel. It's great for shaving the hair off your arm and take it to a hair popping edge again pretty easily. The grind's really neat on this one. Sort of you'll see that there's like a sharpened tip on the top here as well as the bottom here, but you'll notice that the primary bevel is not totally flat. I don't know if that's done by accident or what, but it makes it look kind of neat. Gives it a cool look to it. It's a little bit straight on this side, but the top one is definitely angled on both sides. But the bottom is just a little bit of an off grind, I guess. Not totally perfect, but still cuts just fine. So take a look here at this guy. Cool looking grinds. The blade on both these knives is essentially 4 inches. I think the Tanto is slightly shorter. Yeah, it comes off like maybe like 1/16 of an inch shorter. Overall, about 9 1/4 inches long. It's a big blade. Enclosed, they're both 5 1/4. So it is a decent sized blade, larger than a Sabenza by quite a bit. They weigh in at 4.97 ounces. So not ridiculously heavy for a knife of this size. I guess they could have skeletonized the titanium if they wanted to lighten it even more. But I think that the weight is actually quite good. It feels just about right. It doesn't feel too heavy. A nice usable sort of weight to it. Overall, a really well made knife. Would have liked a little bit of texture on the thumb stud maybe, but nothing wrong with this. The jimping there, a lot of good sized jimping there. No jimping on the back, but good holding, good ergonomics for reverse grip. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. The Southern Grind Bad Monkey.